What's up, peeps? I'm going to begin with the change of format. Last month, we were doing courage. We should be good on courage, maybe one more in the future, but it's time to actually get to action. The reason I started with courage is it's part of action, but it's the benchmark, the foundation for action. I'll give you an example. I was going to my health food store, and there was this girl who had an amazing way with makeup. I watch a lot of YouTube, trying to learn how to make my YouTube channel better, looking at other people. And she had a natural gift. And I said, you need to be on YouTube. And she's like, I get that all the time. Just unique look, she would have did it well. Out the goodness of my heart, didn't know this girl. I said, hey, here's my number. Here's my YouTube channel. This is what I will do for you. I will teach you how to make videos so you start off right. Tell me what you have. Got a number, email address. We even friended each other on Facebook. Sent her the information, and I waited. Here it is, 6 months later, nothing's happened. There's wanting to do something, and there's actually doing something. I'm going to share a secret with you that's going to blow your mind. A person who doesn't have a lot of talent, who's not actually fit for the job, but because they want it and they take action and they do the things that are required to get that job, many times they do. And people say, well, Sam should have got that job because Sam's way more qualified, which is probably true. But Sam did not take action. There are many people who want to be what I call blessed by success. Work hard on whatever it is, but they don't want to market themselves. They don't want to take action. They just hope to be discovered, and then someone else does all of that other stuff that can't be bothered with. I've learned hard work, a killer work ethic will get you further than talent any day of the week. You'll have people who know how to work hard, who are marginally talented, who will get further in a year than some super talented people will do in a decade. It's about the work ethic. It's about taking action. And I just started doing things because I know sometimes when I do things, people think that I'm crazy. People think that everything I do, there's a method. There's a methodology. There's a reason. I just don't do stuff to do stuff. This summer, I gave away books free. I was like, you know what? All of these internet marketing gurus are talking about free, 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 and then you'll be blessed with sales. I did not believe it, but I cleared my mind. I said, look, we're going to do this not once, not twice, but 3 times. Not going to ask for anything, just going to put it out there and see what happens. Just like I tell you, go ahead, create a plan, create a timetable, and put it out there and see what happens, because the best information that you get a lot of times is information you develop yourself from actually doing something. And I did it, and people were happy, and they were like, yes, and that's wonderful, and that's great. Then, a few weeks later, I came out with the Porn is Always in the DVD player, and then I said, hey, look, if you got one of those free books, that if you had applied action, you'd have the money to buy this $3.99 ebook. Many people did buy the ebook, and I was grateful, but the majority of the people did not. Where am I going with this? It's like, well, people didn't buy the book. No, that's a small, small blip on the radar. The message I'm trying to drive home to you is most people don't take action. See, this is the reason the Hustler Mindset Project was launched off. I've had 3 years of data, webinars, talking to people, and there's 2 groups of people. There are people who don't take action, and there are people who do take action. And honestly, the people who take action are more fun to talk to. They're more engaging. They're hyped. Do they always win? No, but they're trying. So that's why I created this, because people are, doing actions. And let me just tell you, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to come down the pike. But with this, keep to the core of this video, with action, taking action consistently, at some point you will win. Can I give you a timetable that if you take action today, 90 days from now, that you're going to be where you want to be? I can't make that determination. I can't make that call because I don't know you. There's many variables missing. Your work ethic, your resources. There's so many things. So I just can't say, but I can say this, and I can guarantee you this, that if you consistently take action, learn from your mistakes, and brush off those disasters, pitfalls, mountains, tragedies, bad things, the transmission falling out of your car, you brush that stuff off and you keep moving forward. Even if it's only a foot of progress, it's better than none. If you consistently do that, I can guarantee you your life will change for the better. Will it be easy? No. Will it be hard? Oh yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be trying. Sometimes you're going to doubt yourself. Sometimes you're going to go, why am I doing this? Because I'm not getting any results. And part of the action and consistency paradigm is ridding yourself of instant gratification and the stuff that you see in the TV and the media. I once heard someone say that, hey, if you're going to start a business and if you don't make get it up to $1 million in sales, there's really no point in doing it. I'm going to tell you something. My business never had $1 million. Got real close in sales. Real close. Never had $1 million in sales. Never happened. But because the margins were so nice, we did $970,000 in sales. But the profit margin, $680,000. Yes, $680,000. That's what storage auctions do, because we were getting our inventory dirt cheap, pennies on the dollar. So even though we didn't make money, and I had friends who had businesses who were doing more in sales but making less net profit. And that's something else we're going to talk about a little later, because net profit is more important than gross. Because someone can tell you, yeah, like, man, we had 10 million in sales. And what was your net? And if they do this, they lost money. They had 10 million in sales, but they lost money. So don't get all caught up in gross. Get caught up in net. Because if you only make $30, but it costs you $1 to make that $30, you are way ahead of the game. So if you got to move forward. Now let's talk about how does one get from the point of inactivity to activity. Purpose. One of the things that I know that drives me is I don't do this for money. I like money. I'm a capitalist. I'll tell you I make products and I sell them for money. But really, that does not get me up out the bed in the morning. What gets me out the bed is when I get this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraph email from a person who was watching YouTube channel and saying, dude, you've helped me make an improvement in my life. Dude, just watching your videos, I'm making $1,200 a month just from the information you put out there. Dude, I saw that dating video and I started applying that advice, and man, I'm doing better with women. Dude, I had a toothache and, I was thinking I was going to have to get paid. But then I remember, I started a savings account, $5 a week, then I erased it just like you said in the video, and I was able to get this handled because I had money in the bank. Dude, I have never been in this situation before. That's why I do this. That is what gives me the energy and the drive to have this purpose, because I'm really helping people. All the haters, all the crazy people, it took me a while to learn, leave them alone, move on, and enjoy and work with the folks who matter, which is you. And that's the thing. You got to find your purpose. Your purpose is like gas in your fuel tank. It will drive you. It will move you. It will carry you over that crazy stuff. And when you have put in 100 hours of work and you look at the money that came in and you're like, this isn't the minimum wage. If I had worked this many hours at McDonald's, I would have more money. And I'm going to say you're 100% correct, but you would lose. If you work that many hours for McDonald's, the thing you don't get is the lesson that you learned working 100 hours for yourself. Because see, this is the deal. I want you to think about this in terms of compound interest. You're working for yourself, you're putting all these hours in, but the money does not look right compared to the level of effort. This is the secret. At some point, just like you're working like a banshee, like a ninja that's about to get kicked out of ninja school, it's going to completely invert, which means you're going to be able to wave your finger, index finger, wave that finger, and then more money's going to come in from the waving of that finger than all that effort you did. You have to stick with it. I'll tell you my story. 2009, I'm getting a little bit better, but I know I can't get back in the storage auction game because my health's just not going to allow me. And I started writing. And that's all I did. I wrote and I made videos. 2009 to, about a year, because it really took 14 months for it to like really take off. And I was making money, but I wasn't making nowhere near the money I made in the storage auction business. I was making less than minimum wage for the hours put in. And when we talk about hours, right, 8 hours a day. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. It's like I can do in a few weeks what took me 3 months back then. But that's the compound interest if you stick with it. See, this is where many people actually lose their investment because they'll start, they'll work hard, and they'll just stop and go in a completely different direction, doing something totally different, and they cannot use that compound interest because they've pulled all their money out of the investment. So I'm writing 12, 14-hour days. I didn't go out. I allowed myself, and only if I met my goals, to go out once a week and have 2 drinks at my favorite bar, Vino Libre. And it was a great place because I'll go there and I'll meet someone interested and I have a great conversation. I'd be there 2-3 hours, 2 drinks, and I'd take my ass home. That was my entertainment for almost 2 years. So hour after hour after hour. But I had the benefit that you don't have. That was my ninth business. I had been on that rodeo before, and I just knew from experience that in the beginning, you put forth a tremendous amount of effort just to get the thing off the ground. You know, you use the parallel of airplanes, like airplanes burn off a massive amount of fuel just to take off. I mean, a substantial amount. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's 20, 30. It's like 40% of the fuel just to take off. That's a lot of effort. And that's the same principle that comes to your business. Because right now, there's some of you, you're working your ass off, but you don't see the money. You just don't see the money. Actually, you may even be in debt. And you're just like, I'm working. And, you know, the American farm system has trained you to, for every hour of work that you put in, you should get an equal remuneration of some cash value. You've been trained and indoctrinated like that. And it's going to kill you. Let me give you the business mindset. Go ahead, 2 years, working my ass off, not making the kind of money. Then, it started before the television shows, because I remember, I was doing the YouTube videos, and I had reached a certain tipping point. I looked in and I was like, wow, 30 book sales at $39.99. That happened in one day. I was like, whoa. Then, you know, it went on and went on and went on. And I looked at my sheet and was blown away because when I hit that tipping point, I was making more money in a week than I had made that whole year. And then it kept on, and then rolled into the holiday seasons. Then bam, the television shows came on. Then poof, took off. Now, there was some that's like, well, Glendon, you know, you just got lucky to be in the right place at the right time. Go back to what I just told you. Number one, I started in 2009. I had no idea that TV shows were coming on. Had no clue. Didn't do it for the TV shows. Now, let's talk about that. Effort, time applied. I beat the television shows, all of them, by 14 months. Working my ass off. When you work hard, you get lucky. Just sitting at home wishing, hoping, and dreaming. That doesn't get you lucky. That doesn't get you lucky at all. It doesn't even get you close to lucky. You can't even get a feel from lucky. And all of that effort where I was making no money. Then I went to making some money. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was excited as hell. I got my first check from CreateSpace. And the way CreateSpace works, you must make $100 to get a check. And then it takes 60 days. So I sell a book in June, July, I'll get that money at the end of August. I didn't make the cut the first time. I didn't make the cut the second time. I was looking at it, it's like I'm selling books, bitch. And then I got a check from CreateSpace for $2,900. And that started from nothing. Understand, it took me many months to get my first check. This is the natural progression of business. Now, how does all this relate to activity? One of the reasons that people start but don't finish is they're expecting that all that hard work to pay off much sooner than it really will. That's what trips you up. You're like, bam. Man, give you another example. Robert from YouTube. He put a year in, had $1,000. At the end of the year, he only had $800. And then he was like, I'm going to Pickin, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this because storage auctions does not pay. Robert did not do Craigslist. He didn't do Amazon. He didn't do eBay. He didn't buy my books. He thought he could figure it out on his own. And he didn't. Because I have a student right now who's been in the game 4 weeks, and she's already made more money. And she actually just brought me on, but she's made more money in 4 months than Robert made his whole career. She spent a lot of money for my consulting services. Yes, she did. It's paid off. She's already recovered that money, and she's making more money, and she's sitting on 2 10x20s full of very nice stuff. But that's another video. The whole point is, for you to take action, you got to figure out, why are you doing this? And there's an exercise here. I'm going to give it to you at the end, but I'm going to give you a little bit right now. What's the rule? Turn off the television. Turn off your phone or put your phone on silent. Turn it over. Get away from your computer. If you're on your computer, go to the click, turn the internet off, and take a few moments and really think about what's really important to you. That's your purpose. Nothing else. Not like being the best picker, the best star. That's not going to drive you. Being really good in your field will drive you. Taking care of your family will drive you. Doing something that people don't think you can do will drive you. You have to figure out what's that core thing that's in you that's your gas tank. Once you figure out what is your purpose, you'll find it much easier to take action. Will this action always be consistent? No. You're human. There's going to be weeks, it's just going to be like, And there's going to be weeks, it's going to just, it flows. But the thing is, you can't stop. And even when you have a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, you can't give up. You can't give up. I'm going to share another story with you about taking action and purpose. When I took my book to the first person I thought who could edit it, she told me something to my face. She's like, well, you're not really that good of a writer. That's what she told me. She said, look, let me ghostwrite this, and then you just go out and market. That's what she told me. And I picked up my face off the floor because, it was just like, what the hell? Because it's this dream, right? Want to be a writer, then someone tells you, you can't write. What? So I picked up my face off the floor, and I said, thanks, but I'll continue without you. And I went home, and I wrote. I said, kiss my ass, fuck you, I'm a writer, and you can't take that shit away from me. So I went there, and I kept doing it, and I did something that, every writing group that I'm a member of, don't do it. Don't put your stuff out there. Don't do it. Your people will never buy your books again. You'll be tainted. You'll be harmed for life. And having a business education let me know that all was a fallacy. It is. Because the thing is, you hear this, it's like, if you mess up and you get bad customer service, they're going to go on the internet and talk bad about you, and you'll never make it. There are people who bought my first book, the crappy one, and they bought the second one, the less crappy one, and the third one, the great one, the fourth one, the better one, the fifth. They bought them because even though technically there was issues, the content was 100% solid and it came from my heart. It was true. It worked. It made sense. And I'll just learn from that lesson. What you can draw from that is don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to be embarrassed, because as much as people want to put in your head that's going to last forever, it will not. I'm going to say something to you, and some of you are going to go, huh? Remember the chick? I can't even remember her name. And I'm reaching, this is a mental trick, Monica Lewinsky. Some of you are going, huh? Monica Lewinsky. This is a chick that gave Bill Clinton a blowjob in the Oval Office. She gave a married man a blowjob, got sperm on the dress. She was a harlot. Not really. One of the biggest career moves of her freaking life. She went on to fame and fortune. But her life was supposed to be over. She was supposed to have the scarlet letter tattooed to her head. Here's someone who did something very raunchy, very questionable, and very, very shady. Her life didn't end. I think, but I'm not sure. I have to look it up, and I'm not going to do it now because I'm not going to stop the video, but I think she went on to get married and have kids. Here's the woman who publicly sucked Bill Clinton's dick. Everyone knew who she was. Face plastered all over the news. Yet I just mentioned her name, and some of you are like, oh, Monica. Oh! You had to search for it like I did, because after a certain amount of time, it doesn't matter. So what I'm telling you is, do not be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to be embarrassed, because you'll get things that you will not get if you play it safe. And how does this relate to action? Goes back to courage. One of the biggest reasons that people do not have success, lack of courage. And if you don't have the courage, then it becomes very hard to get to the action. Because when you have the courage, when you're just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this. Hell, whatever, I'm going to do it. You're gonna learn some stuff. You may absolutely fall flat on your face. You may just embarrass the hell out of yourself. But after you pick yourself up, take a few moments and look at all those lessons that you learn from taking action. You're going to learn more from your failures than your successes. Success is like, ooh, this is good. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. Feels good. Lulls you to sleep. It's all relaxing. Failure is a freaking wake-up call. You can't sleep. You toss and turn. It's always in your mind. And if you learn how to control your mind and pull out the lessons, and there are many, many lessons in failure, you go, whoa, I learned how not to do that. Look, I have a publishing company now. I've never done it before. I made many mistakes. Did everything they said, don't do it, don't do it, you'll never make it. Own the publishing company, 7 books, well 12 counting other ones that are under a pen name. And I made a full-time living as an author. I'm not saying that to impress you. It's not to be, to impress you. I'm going to give you a few numbers. There are people that you've heard of. You've seen their books in the bookstore. They don't make enough money to live on because of how their contracts are structured. I sell way less books and make far more money because I understand business. And I didn't really understand how important that was going to be until later on when I started talking to the authors. Because the real deal is, let's just look at my life. Number one, you're not supposed to be able to make a full-time living from storage auctions. Did it? You're not supposed to be making a full-time living as a writer. Did it? You're not supposed to be making a lot of money from YouTube. Did it? When you hear people say, you cannot do that, it's very risky, essentially what they're doing is taking off the mask and showing you who they are. J.K. Rowling wrote this big ass book and people are like, it's not going to sell, it's too big, it's too many words, kids are not going to read it. And as you know, Harry Potter became a billion-dollar industry. That big book with all those words that kids weren't going to read. She wrote it from the heart. So don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. You may have to change it up. You may have to change the format, the delivery. You may have to learn some bad lessons. But if you keep pushing forward, you may be able to get to your thing. But once again, action, purpose, intent. You have to have purpose. I didn't understand that because I tried so many things. I was always into the multi-level marketing, and I would get in there and I would start off strong, and it was almost like a revival. They'll get you in there and you're just like, yeah, I can do this. Your chest gets all puffed up. And then after you leave and it's just you and the product, and you have to go out there and sell that shit, and you realize this stuff is not that special. They whip you into a frenzy. Anytime that you go to a multi-level marketing situation, and if someone says, hey, I can't tell you about it, but you need to come to the meeting, that's so they can pull you in and do the do the brain control, brainwashing, and get you whipped up in that frenzy to pull out your credit card or write that check and sign on a dotted line. And does this mean all multi-level marketing things don't work? Actually, that's not true. There are some that are very good because they offer real services, real products. But the payout is not that spectacular. That's how they get you hooked in. Sign up people and you make your money off signing folks up. But I was that dude going in there, yeah. And just after a few weeks or a few months, it was just like, this is boring. This is hard. And if I call one more of my friends saying, hey, I got this opportunity, I'm not going to have any friends. Then I moved on. And then when I found some stuff, because I like furniture, I like going to the apparel market. That's actually how I relax. I know it sounds weird. I go down there for a show because I can still get in. And I just look at all the beautiful furniture because it's an art to making nice furniture. And I got in the furniture business and I was really good because I had passion and a purpose. I was helping people, solving their issues. And I was good at it. And I was like, oh, that's why this other stuff never worked out. I didn't have a purpose for it. Then, moving forward, got in the storage auction business. The big part of that was I got to go through other people's lives. I got to go, it's like going to your neighbor's house and going through all their drawers, going through all their tax records, going through their closets, going through the pockets of everything, and really looking at them from through an unfiltered lens. This is who this person is. Raw, naked. I love that shit. That got me, I was like, going off today. And it was just like, because you never knew what you were going to get. It was just like, And the stuff and the money was secondary. That's one of the reasons I have so many stories from the storage auction business. Because that was my purpose. That's what put fuel in my tank. That's what made me go out there. That's what kept me going when I bought a unit, spent a bunch of money, and it was nothing but other crap in there. So I can't make any money off this. And I actually learned the point that when I bought a crappy unit, give it away, throw it away, just move on. Just move on. Sitting there, stewing it, examining it, looking at it 18 different ways from Sunday will make you depressed and will not help the situation. Not at all. And I went through that, and I was like, But back to your exercise. You're in that room, right? TV's off, phone's off, internet's off. Just use a sheet of paper, or if you use your iPad, make sure you turn the internet off so you're not getting dings and chimes. And you go, what is your purpose? What's really important to you? What are you willing to die for? What are you willing to really amp up to for another level? Because a lot of people, they've never asked themselves that question. That's why the military, sporting organizations, sports teams, that's why we love them, because coaches, officers, drill instructors, they bring that stuff out of you. They make you perform at a high level. Now, you don't have a DI to yell at you every day, but you do have a family, a life, something that will give you purpose, something that will wake you up, something different, something unique. You need to figure out what it is. So on this sheet of paper, what's really, really, really important to you? I mean, no bullshit, no nothing. Just the raw. What's important? If staying at home and pulling lint out your navel is it, so be it. But put that on a sheet of paper and take this whole week and every day really think about what's really important to you. What's really important? Put it on a sheet of paper. And when you find it, whatever it is, because I can't speak for you. I know what my purpose is, but I don't know what yours is. It's gonna feel like click, someone turned a switch on. Your life is gonna be totally different. You're gonna see things different. Your food's gonna be better. It's gonna be an extra pepper because you're gonna feel alive. Because many people are walking around half dead because they're just like, hey, the language, like, hey, you go to work, you pay the bills. What can you do? Losers speak. Oh God, thank God it's Friday. I work like a slave Monday through Friday so I can have not even really 2 days off because Sunday I can't do what I want to do because I got to go back to work Monday. So for a day and a half, I'm free. Woo. I don't want that for you. I want something better because 7 days are in a week and you should enjoy 7 days in a week, not a day and a half. So when you get this thing and you figure it out and write it down and think about it, and the next day when you look at your sheet of paper, you go, maybe, if you're going maybe, that's not it. But when you write it down and you're just grinning, you're like, yeah, that's it. That's your fuel. Figure out your fuel. Then once you figure out your fuel, your priorities was really, really important. Rank them in order. What's number one? What's the number one thing you need to do in your life? Number one. Is it, hey, I need to be a better father for my kids. And part of being a better father is I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to stop drinking, I need to stop smoking, whatever that may be. Because then you have your first list of priorities. Then you have your second list, subset list of actionable steps. Things that you have to do to make you that person. It doesn't matter if you're not that person right now. It doesn't matter. That's not the deal. The deal is to flesh out what it will take, what you need to do, what you need to have in you to make you that person. Because as Earl Nightingale exposed to me many, many years ago, no one really sits you down and tells you the real deal. It's just like, if you work hard, you'll be successful. Lie. Do what you love and the money will come. Lie. If you keep your nose clean and stay out of trouble, nothing bad's going to happen to you. Lie. If you eat right and do everything, you'll never get sick. Lie. There's so many lies that in your heart are lies, but because they're socially sanctioned lies, you kind of go with it because you're not going to be punished by society. But when you say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to take that cancer treatment, but I'm going on a totally 100% vegetarian diet, and I'm going to take these vitamins, and I'm going to go on these super vitamin packs. People think you're crazy, and it's alternative medicine, and you're nuts, and you're just wasting your time. You need to let those people pump you full of chemical there. I mean, seriously. Because my partner, before she died, she was kind of going through that, and her family was just like, hey, and her family is very educated, doctors in the family, and I was like, this is the proper course. And that came from their heart. But she was looking at other stuff. And there have been a lot of people who have seen benefit and live long lives from changing what they eat. That's a whole nother step. But the whole point is, going back to why I did courage first, because it's going to take courage to be yourself. I know it sounds really, really strange, but it's going to take courage to be yourself because everyone wants you to kind of be a certain label so they can easily isolate you, identify you, and deal with you where they want to deal with you versus dealing with you where you are and who you are. Because if you're a little different, if you're on the edge, if you're a little shit, if a little risque, you make them uncomfortable. And they don't want to be uncomfortable. They want to be able to put you in a box and be happy with you. Because I was told on YouTube, after mostly 400 and some videos about storage auctions, I was a motivation speaker, but I was talking about storage auctions. But I guess, that made a lot of people comfortable because it wasn't like, hey, here's this guy who has a speech impediment, who spent 6 years in special ed, who ran a successful business and I couldn't. But if I label him as a motivational speaker, one of those people who really, for the most part, don't make a lot of money, and some people think they're a little kooky, I'm comfortable with that. But if I have to call him an educated, smart, successful business person, I'm not real comfortable with that because it makes me look like an idiot. It makes me uncomfortable. So I'm going to label him something he's not. And I'm going to spread the word and try to induce others to label. And that's something else. I'm not going to say it correctly, but Audre Lorde said it, that you better be yourself or you're going to be consumed by people. I will put that quote out somewhere. I will find it because it's a beautiful quote. I get the gist of it, but I don't remember it right now. And essentially, people are going to really push very hard for you not to be who you are. It's just the way that it is. But courage to be yourself will give you the courage to delve deep into who you are and figure out what your purpose is. Because this is what this whole thing is about. What is your purpose? Why do you do what you do? Some of this is going to shock you. It's going to really, really shock you because you're like, yeah, I do this because I'm telling you, I don't do this stuff for money. Because understand, I made a lot of money and I've been broke to the point there was a jar of water in the refrigerator. No food in the house, and I was just glad to have that water. Broke. Money's nice. It's wonderful. You need it. It does solve a lot of problems, but you just can't do everything for money. You can't because it will backfire on you. And if you're not this person who just loves money, it will not be your purpose. It will not be your fuel in your tank, and it will not carry you far. You'll do a few things. You'll be good for a minute, but when the rubber meets the road and you need to stand up and perform, if you don't have some solid, good, high-octane fuel in your tank, you're not going to make it. You're just not going to make it. So that's the deal. Figure out what your purpose is. And when I say purpose, I'm not talking about, save the world, feed children. No, your purpose for your family, for yourself. What makes you really, really happy? Now, being happy and doing what you love are two different things. Because happiness is a byproduct of action. You don't just sit around and go, I'm happy. No, it's like after a long project, you got headaches, people are talking about you, you get it and you're successful, then you're like, I'm happy now. It came from doing something. And it lasted for a while because you accomplished something. Sit down, do nothing. Happiness is like a fart. It fills up the room, but then after a while it just goes away very quickly. All right, this is Glendon. Oh, no! Can't do that. From the top, sheet of paper. At the top of the paper, what is my purpose? Put a line. Then just start writing. Don't really think about it. Just start writing. Because if you start writing, because you're sitting there like, what's the first thing? What's the perfect thing? What is the first thing I need? You can stall yourself. Just start writing. Understand, kill trees. If you need 20 sheets of paper, fine. But the deal is, what's my purpose? And I don't care what it is. Just start writing and keep writing until you fill up that sheet of paper. Then when you see some jewels in there, because, once you just start digging, and digging, stuff will come up. Stuff that may surprise you will come up. And then after you've got a few sheets of paper, things, you can go back and go, that's important. And things that make you smile and make you woo are things that really scare you because you see something on the paper and you're like terrified, right? And understand, it's just you in the room. It's just you, the pen, the paper, the ink, and you're terrified. That's probably something you need to do. That's probably something you want to do. That's probably something that's urging you, that's nagging in your little soul. You probably need to do it. So if it makes you really happy, probably good to go. If it scares the shit out of you, it's probably good to go. So do that, and then we're going to discuss it. A lot of good stuff's coming because, like I said, we haven't even scratched the surface in the Hustler Mindset Project. But with that, that's your activity. More stuff's coming this week, but that's what you need to start because, we're going to start getting a little busier. It's going to be more and more things to do. But that's what you need to do. What is my purpose? You want to put the best, freshest, cleanest, high octane fuel in your tank so you can be active, so you can take action and move forward and improve your life. And now I'll see you in the next video.